Welcome to my diary. I'm Tatami. Here I talk about whatever I want to. Today I kind of want to think through my thoughts on if black names are automatically stereotypes just when you use them. Recently, as in the last few years, so not really recently, I've noticed as I try to buy black books for my kids that a lot of books for children featuring black kids also feature racism, segregation, overcoming slavery, overcoming some kind of discrimination. And those books are really important, but they're not really the books that I want to fill the libraries of my black children. You know what I mean? And it's not just like the really contentious subjects. It's like, I love my hair. I love my skin. You know what I mean? It's never just a black child living life, experiencing joy, going on an adventure. There's no Steven's universe of the black child world. And it makes me sad. So I've written a couple books that I'm kind of going over the, storyline of, the baseline of, etc., etc. And I revealed that in one of these books, to my husband, I revealed that a character was named Dayshawn. This name didn't come out of nowhere. I didn't just be like, let me look through a list of names. No. Y'all, I literally have a little brother named Dayshawn. Not only that, this is not an exaggeration. This is not a like, what if I did? This has happened to me. I'm in pro-black groups, going through something. I don't remember what the topic was exactly, but for whatever reason, people were just calling out names they found stereotypical and embarrassing. And one of the top liked names was Dayshawn. And I thought, wow, like my little brother at the time was not even in high school yet. And he's got people in his own community who are repulsed by his name, like ready to spring back and be like, I don't really want to be associated with that. That's a joke. But he wasn't named as a joke, right? Our mother did not name him that as a joke. It was never a joke. Literally, she named him that because she thought it was a good name. The same as she named the rest of her previous, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 kids. Y'all, sometimes I'm not even sure I know if I know all of my birth siblings, but that's another story. My point is that, she named him that in seriousness. But my husband was like, whoa, he thought I was trying to be like stereotypical. He is a darker skinned black man. His mother was kind of the darkest you get as a black American, as an African American, and was one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. She was just powerful, but also subdued, but also talented. It's just like sometimes you meet people and you're like, fuck, if the world was different, you would be on top of it. That was my mother-in-law. All right. So, my husband kind of grew up with understanding her story of like colorism and stuff, but he also grew up, in San Francisco, in the Bay Area of California, growing up with his own thoughts and his own ideas and his own prejudice. And it made me sad that he was like really weirded out by the idea that I would make a main character in one of my children's books be named after one of my little brothers. But never, ever, ever question me naming the other book that I'm writing after my other brother. Like, he thought, okay, he questioned it, but he was like, make it an acronym. It can be his name, but like, make it a little stranger. But when it came to an actually black name, he was like, really, he felt like, I was calling out really stereotypical names. But at the same time, we've known people who actually wear these names. At any rate, I was wondering what anybody else thought. Because I'm a biracial black person, and he's a technically monoracial black person, but y'all, his daddy's slightly darker than me. So he turned out very dark skinned, but I'm just gonna say it like most black folk. I think most black folk, it's accurate to assume most black folk have like 10 to 20% something else in them, because yeah, anyway, my whole point is y'all can't judge quite right with just seeing someone's skin tone what their ancestry is, for sure. At any rate, my whole point is like, are we just being contentious on this? Do you think it's not a big deal? Like, do you think no one should ever uplift black names? Do you think it's weird to uplift them in child's literature? Do you think it's weird to uplift them at all? Do you think we should be moving on, using more Eurocentric names, making up our own names, going all the way back to African names? For example, my twins are, one of their names is Taiwo and Kehinde, because that means first and second born twins on the west side of Africa, Western Africa. So, there's just a lot of options. I'm curious what other people think. Do you think it would be better to read your kids a story that normalizes African American names, Black American names? Or do you think that that time is done and naming our kids like, Shaniqua and Dayshawn and, LeBron, all these names that kind of get joked on until someone does well with them. Is that a real thing? Is it weird for me to try and write books that honor these names? I'm confused. I don't know. It's something I think about. What do you think? I'm curious what other people think. Like, it may or may not change my opinion in my book. I may or may not change Dayshawn's name in the book. But, I'm curious what other people think, and if it's something that they'd even be interested in reading and understanding, or if it's something they would pass up for something else just because it has this name. At any rate, may your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads, and I will see you next time.